Slideshow number 4. First picture shows that some exhaust tips that I made for, I wanted to make it look like the grill of my car, and so I made a couple of them. And then that kind of inspired me to build some tail lights. I wanted on stanchions. I want the grill, or the tail lights look like the grill also. I'm hammer forming over the piece that I found, making a top and a bottom. They were some old stanchions from something, but anyway, there's the top and bottom put together. I've got them welded up. Now I'm hammer forming the tail light bezel. Now I'm making the transition pieces, clamping them into the bezel so they can weld them to the extension. Got them, weld them up just piece by piece, putting them together. And I got them to that point. I put them on the car, and they're too long. I want them, but they're too long. So I chose the middle of it, took 2 inches out of the center of it, and shortened them up. Made a big difference. I like the looks of it now. And so then I put a bottom in them so I can bolt them on. Next photos are building the rear bumper bracket covers. After I put the rear bumper, what the bumpers are is off a 36 Ford. The rear one is off a sedan delivery, and it has the way it waves in was for where you would get into the rear door, and it worked real good with the spare tire area. Anyway, making all the pieces there. This is the front bumper. I'm instead of narrowing it, I shortened it by rolling the ends over because it was too wide. So I rolled that over a lot better than trying to make a cut in the middle and try to get it to not crack the weld or stuff. Held it up on the car where it needed to look the best, and then made some wire forms or patterns, and then bent them out of some flat strap and bolted them on, and then I got my bumpers held up. Now I'm going to build some covers for them also, paper patterns, putting it in the English wheel and flipping the edge, and make the covers for the front ones also, so that matched front and rear. Look good. Windows, I used some regulators out of a 33-34 Ford, and they're a little bit too wide for the Willys, so I had to build this extension for them to sit in, so the window regulator would mount in the middle of the window for the glass. And that's what that looks like there. Rear window, I want it to roll up and down, so I built a channel all the way around that, and made a piece of stainless steel box. That regulator's out of like a 38 Willys. Made that fit so that raises that window up and down. The rear quarter windows, well, let's keep going. Let's roll them up and down too. So I'm using Volkswagen regulators, and the cable goes up through that center post of the post there. Here I'm working on the headlights, getting them mounted in. Got some reproduction ones, and getting them all drilled and sanded and making them look real nice in the fiberglass fenders. Here I'm looking at the door gaps. Kind of hard to see. You can see I put a piece of tape on there. That's where the door gap, what I want. Then I pull the door off and lay another piece of tape on the back side of that, and then I can weld the edge up, lay my piece of tape back on, and grind it to fit it. And that's how I get a nice door gap edge. There's all the pictures step by step showing that. Okay, the front, you see the cowl body line don't line up with the back one, so I'm cutting and lowering that there. And then on the bottom, I got it the top looking good. Now I need to do the bottom. So the bottom, I'm going to add a piece onto the bottom of that. So I've made a piece. It has to roll up under to make it look like the original. Welded that on and ground it and got her primed, and that made it look a little better going into the door. Overhead console, I wanted to do something different than that. This is the first overhead console I built. Kind of curved to the shape that I wanted, laying it out on a piece of steel, And I'm going to flip the flange up to a 90 along the bottom. Here I'm working the edge up to the complete 90 with a hammer and a dolly. Putting some curve in it so it's not just a flat piece across there. Put some shape into it. Using the filler piece in the bottom, pushing it over an oxygen tank, and then doing some English wheel to stretch it a little more, because it's got to be curved in the front, but then it's got to be flat where it sits against the windshield. So here I'm clamping it up. Here's it clamped up in. Got it held up in there. Windshield wiper regulator is out of a Volkswagen. I modified it, made that work. This is a window frame. I didn't have the original window frame, so I'm going to glue my glass onto this frame, which it'll open and close, but yet it'll be, when it's closed, it'll look like it's a glued-in windshield. Here's the drop around my steering drop. Okay, this picture here it's a piece that goes down the center of the hood where the original hinge used to go. Took a little bit of time to build that, but turned out real neat. Had it chromed and turned out pretty neat. Hopefully you'll see that in some later pictures. So thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you later.